All right, guys. Well, today is the day. We're in my shop, but I did sit it in the sun. Maybe you could see it a little bit better. We're gonna get the SIMATECH ready. It's Saturday. We're actually gonna use this thing on Monday. So I need to get it ready. We've had a bunch of snow. It doesn't look like it right now. There's a little bit over by the dump truck still. But it's been snowy and then 10 degrees and snowy and rainy, and you get it. If you don't move to Kansas, you'll figure it out real quick. One day it'll be 70 degrees and next day it's snowing. Anyways, but we need to get this ready. I am very excited about using it up there. Just basically from a price point, this may be a pretty good option, and I'm kind of intrigued to see how well it does compared to the Osmo. So I figure we'll walk through and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do a mount. Going to tweak it a little bit from my how cheap can we make a excavator mount. I was going to go get some chrome rod. I kind of wish I did. This is just 41, it's cold rolled. I don't know, or it's 1040, I think it's 1045. But it's just regular cold rolled steel, 1 3/4. Remember, the ears come with this mower. And then for what I call a misalignment bushing, this, whoa, it's got cutting oil on it and about slid out of my hand. This is this 3-inch? Hang on a second. Get a tape measure. There's the rest of it. It's hot roll. And I think I bought 3-inch because that's what they had. Yep, it's 3-inch hot roll round bar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chamfer one side. I'm just going to bevel it a little bit. And then I'll show you what this is going to be. And all I did was cut these on my bandsaw. I just bought that big chunk. It wasn't terribly expensive. And there's my misalignment bushing. What that does is it kind of acts as a shim to keep the coupler off of the attachment. You can't see it. There's a little bit of irregular wear, just barely, you know, just kind of rubbing like where the EXH was. It allows this to go all the way over, and the coupler can actually touch the ear of the bucket, or, you know, in this case, a mower. So misalignment bushing, what it does is it gives you a little bit of space there to hit here on the coupler, and it keeps the top side of the coupler off of it. Fairly cheap. It'll make for a nicer attachment. What I'm going to do is we'll find our holes. I may go ahead and drill the holes in the ears first, and then center punch this, or I'm going to drill a hole in the middle of it. Haven't quite decided, but basically those will go there and there. And then I've got a 2-inch bit for my mag drill. We're going to do it just like we did last time. And this is 1/2 inch, and that's about 3/4. So we'll be able to drill all the way through both pieces. Let's get some of this cutting oil off of these. I just cut these on the bandsaw. be good for a misalignment business. Next, 3 more to go. Last one always turns out the best. Okay, well, what we're going to do, we're going to try to lay this out. So I'm just going to lay it out where it looks good. You want to check your center. Yanmar, I usually use like 10.5, 10 9/16, somewhere around in there. So that puts that not in a great spot. So what I think I'm going to do is we'll mark this. As tight around or round as we can. Let's see here. I don't want to do that. Ish. We're not building a rocket ship. Close is good. Alright, so center of that one. Let's burn an inch. So we need to be 11. Nine 9/16, which is about there. So if we go show you guys, it doesn't exactly fit the ear. These ears are just generic. It's nice that they send them to us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the torch. I don't really want to mark on it, but because I don't know where I'm going to do it yet, but we're just going to, you know, like so. And we'll just, those of you interested in doing stuff like this, and if you're going to buy you a mag drill, this is how you change out a bit on a mag drill. Maybe I need to rotate that. This is what they call it, annular coater. This is a 1 3/4 carbide. Generally, I don't buy the carbide. It's a little more expensive. But, well, I do in the smaller ones, but the big ones, I don't. But somehow, this carbide was cheaper to buy than the high-speed steel. And obviously it's better and it'll last longer and all that. I've never had this brand, but it came from the same place that I get all my stuff. Fusion 2. Oh, it's a Hogan, or however you say that. I thought it was a copperhead. Well, I guess maybe it's an underlying brand for Hogan. But I've had their bits. That's actually, I think it's what this is. Yeah, this is a Cyclone. I think this is one of their bits, and I've made a lot of holes with that 5/8. Anyways, an 1 3/4 by 2 carbide. And what you do, I don't know if you can see the spring underneath there. Oh, I guess I need to put the handles on this. But you take it and you line up that little part that's in there. I'm gonna have to support this better. Anyways, but I'll show you the rundown. You want to put coolant on it, but they cut incredibly well. Give me a minute. Let me get a better setup here. I'm probably just going to clamp this to the table so it doesn't wobble, and I need to put the handles on the hammer drill. So anyways, give me a minute. All right, well, I just realized I kept wanting to call this a dang hammer drill. I don't know why I got hammer drill on the brain. I've done that about 5 times now. But put a squeeze clamp on it, hold that to the table. Mine, you can, when it goes in the case, take apart your handles. So you just put your handles together. It might be simpler to have the handles on the other side because of my clamp, but we'll see. Then when you spin that down, see how that, you probably can't see it, but that little pin, that's your alignment pin. You can line up the hole with it. Yeah, see, I might have to put the handles on the other side. Let's just put the handles on the other side to eliminate the issue. You can go either side on mine. This is a Slugger. I don't know which one it is. JHM Magforce, but I bought it used from a guy that owned a pawn shop. I've done a lot of holes with it. All right, our alignment pin's lined up, so that's why you center punch that. And let's grab power off the extension cord for the grinder. And then back here on the back side, I'll just tell you what I'm doing. Hit the magnet, it's stuck like Chuck, and then put your guard down. Actually put a little bit of cutting lube all around it first. It's really not as necessary with the carbide, but I still do it. Make it last a long time. And then fire up. I don't know if you heard that noise, but that was us going through the first step there. Let me grab my gloves. Just got some cheaper shop gloves. You gotta get your bird's nest off so you can get to your plug. This stuff is incredibly sharp, so please don't just grab it with your hands. You can grab a pair of needle nose or something like that. And actually I'll probably have to pull this off anyways because I gotta get my plug out. I'll show you what I'm talking about there. So turn the magnet off so you can move the drill, and then there's your plug. And the reason the plug stays in there is because you have another piece of steel underneath it. If you didn't have the two pieces of steel married, you wouldn't have the plug. It'd shoot out the bottom, and that's also what that pin's for, is it ejects the plug out of your bit. So you're not using it like a regular steel hole saw, and you can't get the plug out. I go ahead and put a little more coolant in it. And I've showed you guys this before, but in case you haven't seen my other videos, and then I line it up, and that's as close as I can get without having a mill. And most mag drills, you have to have the entire base on the steel to have it get good contact. If it can't magnetize to the plate, most of them have a sensor in it that it won't let it run. I don't know if it's a sensor or a switch, but if it doesn't adhere good, it won't run. Fire it back up, keep drilling. And I believe the carbide makes a little sharper, whatever you want to call these strands. It makes a little sharper metal than high-speed steel, because these things are awfully shiny. Normally they're not that shiny. Shiny equals sharp a lot of times when you're doing stuff like this. I know that sounds really dumb, but I'm here to tell you. And then here's our plug that shot out the bottom. So there's both our plugs. And I keep these. I mean, they make really good, I'll use the grinder and I clean up the little lip. They make good plugs for plug and tubing. So I just keep them around for that. All right, what I think I'm gonna do, wow, that made a really nice hole. Way better than the high-speed steel. Let me show you guys this. Look how nice that is. Way better than the high-speed steel. I didn't expect that at all. I mean, it's a better cutting method than high-speed steel. And I think what I'm gonna do, instead of trying to float this thing off and having it shoot through the bottom, we're just gonna cut this side and it just won't eject the plug on the second cut. No different than this one. So let me get that cut, and at least that way the holes will be, you know, exactly where we need them to be. I'm gonna pull a measurement on it just to make sure real quick before I drill the next hole. I think I already did that, but instead of reviewing the tape, I'm gonna pull a tape measure on it, and we're gonna drill some holes. So give me a minute. All right, I'm cutting the next piece, but I just put a small chamfer on it there with my what you call it? Oh yeah. All right, this is what I kind of came up with. I'm just gonna let it sit in there Actually, I guess I could slide it that way a little more, but it's okay. But I've kind of just eyeballed center. Here's your pin. It's got plenty of room around it. So if I'm a little off, all it's going to do is mess with my OCD. So why don't you guys hang out there for a second and let's see what we can do here. I need to get a magnet for my mount. I can just make a quick disconnect cable or something for it. Get a couple tacks. That way I can flip it over and be good to go. It shouldn't move. And an important note, possibly, I marked out. I marked them both the same way. I just marked them as they were sitting there, but I'm putting the discs on the out part. I know that's in, but the way I marked them, I marked it out. Basically, I'm saying, make sure you don't make two of the same thing. That's what I was trying not to do when I did that. And here I am trying to mess it up on camera for you. There you go. I'm trying to explain how I was trying not to mess it up, and I was going to mess it up for you. If you don't trust your eyeballs, I don't know, go to Walmart or Dollar General or something and get you a compass. Trust me, I thought about doing so. Okay, let's do that. Ground. Switching it. Yes, I can weld left-handed or right-handed. I typically try not to because you won't think about it, but you tend to burn your hand when you don't have a glove. So I try not to do a lot of that. Okay. As I said before, we put our discs on out. I'm actually telling myself and not telling you guys that. So, discs are on out. There's out. So we want out down because the discs are going on out. Yes, I keep repeating it for a reason. That has happened before. Gotten something done, it's like, oh, I made two of the same sides. Great. How are we gonna fix that? Well, guess what? Cut things apart a lot. Or you just stop doing it. Ground. Sure, I got it. Make sure again we did it correctly. Yes, we're making opposite parts there. Put the disc down. Gotta block the sun. It's throwing me off a little bit in there. Close enough for government work, as they used to say. Nobody says anything like that anymore. Okay. I think we're just going to weld these hanging off of this. You guys want to watch a little bit of welding? I've always wondered, I guess, comment and let me know if you see the little blue dot. I never know if you're supposed, I mean, maybe I need to put you guys in the hood. I don't know if that works if you're not in, I don't want to say in real life, but in person. I don't know. Well, we're going to weld this up. I think I'm gonna 100% worry about welding that 100% around. I'm just gonna capture two sides. I mean, it's got a lot of weld on it, but I don't think it needs to be fully welded. Waste the wire. Make sure it doesn't catch my wood on fire there, guys. You watch it for me. Alright. Kind of have a little jig set up here. I've got it spaced out with a couple of the discs over on this other corner, and it's just sitting on top of the discs, I guess, the misalignment bushings. Throw some lube in it. Line up our bit into our hole. Turn our mag on. Put our little protective cage down. Put some gloves on because stuff kind of flies. Handle's clear. Well, I can tell you, this plate is considerably harder than that hot roll. I mean, the plate's probably a grade 50, maybe better. You see, you can tell, see how there's not much of a bird's nest on there, like the other side, like the harder plate, and it cut a lot quicker. I don't know if you could tell. I don't know if I'm a time lapse cutting or what, but it was considerably quicker cutting that hot roll, that misalignment bushing here. So let me cut this other side, and then I'll show you the finished product. Well, and then we'll have to cut the ears with a torch, but anyways, for the most part, finished product. We're magged on, cover. A little more of a bird's nest, but not by much. That stuff is considerably softer. But that's also the reason why I use that hot roll. I kind of wanted something that would wear easier than the coupler, but not just, you know, be so soft that it wouldn't have any wear capabilities. Not that that's a high wear item, but there's our plug out of the 3/4, that 3/4 piece. And then there's our bucket ear. I think you guys could probably see that. I mean, not bad for eyeballing those. That's pretty close, really. All right, guys. Well, for all intents and purposes, I've got it all squared up and everything. I've just got the pins loosely drove in, very snug fit, but they all tapped in with a hammer very lightly. I'm just gonna start tacking. The bolts are loose in the mount. I didn't want to have the nylock nuts on it have any heat and push the plastic out of the nylocks for any reason. We are gonna weld the pins. Yes, I always give a little bit of extra pin, just to make sure we're all the way through it and give it some rigidity. The pin material is cheap. So let's go ahead and tack this. Had the welder turned down, welding that other stuff. That shouldn't move. Let's protect this finish a little bit. Let me go grab a welding blanket. All right. I don't know why I'm doing this. I can take this off and stand it up over here and weld it vertically. Give me a minute, I'm gonna weld that a little harder over here as well. All right. And that way we can get it off of the finish of the mower as well. Squeeze in between you here. This top pin still spins. The bottom one's a little snug. It would probably turn, but it really doesn't matter. They're pretty perpendicular to each other, so actually I'm gonna move you guys a little bit so I can get a little more comfortable and maybe protect your guys' eyes. I'm gonna grab my stool. Maybe we can all fit here in the same spot. Kinda. That's right, you guys can be comfortable. Top pin still spins. You guys stay over there. I'll be right back. Not bad from our first day. Not bad. And especially since the sun is right behind me. If you will, you know what I'm talking about. I can see a little bit on the back side of my lens. Yes, I can close the door. It's really nice. It was 12, 15 degrees this morning and I'm sitting here in a t-shirt. I'll take it. So I'll leave the door open. I'm all about it. All right, let's keep going here. here we go. Got the coupler finished, painted, all that. Tried it out. There's no interference when you roll up. When you crowd back, like as you're pulling the bucket to you, it could hit my thumb, but if I didn't have a thumb, I think it'd clear. So, you know, take that in consideration when you're modifying your ears. If I would have really thought about it, I probably would have dropped that pin down, probably the thickness of the pin, and then recut it. Been perfect, but at least they supply the ears for you, and they are generic, so they fit multitude of machines. I went ahead and adjusted the door. It clears the coupler. It looked like it was going to jam right into the coupler. Clears the coupler fine. I already greased it. I adjusted it to the first hole there. That's probably where I want it. Maybe the second hole, but I really think that hole is probably going to do it for me. You guys mow where you like. I went ahead and tightened the fitting or the hoses down. I've still got to get the adapters to go from BSP to my couplers. The lines are plenty long enough, not too long, not too short, about just right, at least for my machine. So, and you guys know I'm putting it on a VIO50. I had it all the way out over the side, and if I kind of jerked it like that, I could get the back track to pick up, but it seemed like it was way manageable size-wise, because this is even a little bit bigger than the EXH100 by 5mm. So, anyways, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll get this thing on the machine come Monday. I'm going to go get the fittings. I've already got couplers, but I don't have the adapters. I can't have everything in the shop. I actually have some adapters, but not the right ones to go to the fittings. But anyways, I'm going to get them, and we're going to get this thing rolling Monday. So, but there's doing the coupler. I think it turned out good. Obviously, you're going to scratch your paint off of your pins, but anyways, it turned out good. It fits really good. I definitely like the added little touch of that, those misalignment bushings. I definitely like how that's going to work. It gave it plenty of room. I probably could have tightened it up a little bit and made it a little narrower, but like I said, I made it a 1/4 inch wider than my bucket. I almost shrank it up to, you know, a 1/2 inch narrower than my bucket. But that'll give it plenty of play when it hits something. You know, it's not going to be so tight it's going to jam into your coupler. If anything, it might slide on the pins. Anyways, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully you will hang out to see how the SIMATECH does on the machine. But that is setting up a SIMATECH, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.